you.
Councillor Wynn, we're live.
Thank you. I'd like to advise the public of the following. This is a meeting to host public meetings on matters requiring approval under the Planning Act. During the meeting, there will be an opportunity for questions and answers from the committee and the public. Before we begin, members of the public are advised that if a person or public body does not make oral submission at the public meeting or make written submission to the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin before the decision, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Further, if a person or public body does not make oral submission to the public meeting or make written submission to the Corporation of the Municipality of Central Elgin before the decision, the person or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of an appeal before the Ontario Land Tribunal unless, in the opinion of the tribunal, there are reasonable grounds to do so. Those wanting to be notified of Council's decision on any application should email Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralelgin.org, indicating which meeting they wish to be notified on and providing their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer and wish to be notified should call Diane Wilson at 519-631-4860, extension 286, and provide the same information. Call this meeting to order. This is a public hearing as required by the Planning Act to hear the applicant, Dan and Debbie Carter, and every other person who desires to be heard in favor of or against the application for a minor variance from the zoning bylaw respecting 184 Centennial Avenue. Do any members of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning the application? And I'm hearing none. If the applicant or agent is listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon. And if you have called into the meeting using a telephone, please dial *9. We will acknowledge your raised hand and you can unmute to explain the application. And is it Mr. or Mrs. Carter? Either of you on the line?
We are.
Okay. Can you please explain to the committee the reason for your application?
Certainly. So we purchased 184 Centennial Ave almost 12 years ago from Dorothy Small, the granddaughter of the gentleman that built this home. We have been here a dozen years and have restored it to its former glory, we like to say. Oddly enough, the way that the property was split because it was part of a farm and then became residential, the front half of our lot is zoned R1 and the back half of the lot is zoned OS2. So we would like to build a garage with an ARU above for our eldest son. But we would like to have R1 setbacks on that garage. OS2 would have it pushed so far away from the border that it wouldn't be worth doing. And then I think there's a height allowance as well for the height to have the ARU above.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Carter. What method of notice and when was notice given to the public of the hearing?
Madam Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on June 13th, 2022. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff as well as the municipal website, and notice was displayed in the weekly CE Buzz. No correspondence has been received.
Thank you. Mr. McClure, do you have any comments with regards to this application?
Thank you, Madam Chair. No, nothing further to the report.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the municipal staff? And I'm seeing none. Have we received any written submissions on this application?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee have any questions on the application? I'm hearing none.
Councillor Rowe does. Councillor Rowe has a question.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Rowe.
Thank you. And sorry about that. My only question was if the front half is zoned one way and the back half is zoned the other way, and it is really all one lot, isn't the simpler thing to do is just to have a site-specific zoning change so that it is all the R1 and eliminate the changes for all of the exceptions, I'll say?
Mr. McClure, do you have follow-up to that?
Thank you, Madam Chair, through you to Councillor Rowe. That is I guess, one option. Ultimately, though, the applicant and staff were satisfied that it could be addressed through a minor variance application as opposed to a rezoning.
Thank you. Councillor Rowe, does that satisfy?
I don't know. It seems like multiple steps versus one step, but I'll leave that to at the discretion of others. Oh, I see.
Are there any other questions from the committee? And I'm seeing none. Sorry, I have a smaller view of the room tonight.
All right, no, there are no other questions. I'll let you know, Councillor Wynn, if there's other questions.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Martin. Do we have any members of the public online with us tonight? Mr. Perrin?
No further questions.
Thank you. Everybody has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Is the committee ready to make a decision?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Shipway, can you take the vote, please?
Yes. Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Cook is absent. Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Chair Wynn?
Yes.
Granted.
Thank you. So that application has been granted, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralelgin.org, indicating which public meeting they wish to be notified on and provide their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer and wish to be notified should call Diane Wilson at 519-631-4860 extension 286 and provide the same information. This meeting is now adjourned. Are we going to roll right into the next one? Okay. We'll bring this meeting to order. This is a public hearing as required by the Planning Act to hear the applicant Trevor Fitzgerald and Cara Gordon and every other person who desires to be heard in favor of or against the application for a minor variance from the zoning bylaw respecting 6043 Stone Church Road. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning this application? And I'm hearing none. If the applicant or agent is listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon. And if you have called into the meeting using a telephone, please dial *9. We will acknowledge your raised hand and you can unmute to explain the application. Trevor, I see you've got your hand raised. You are free to go ahead and explain your reasoning for the application.
Hey, yes, hello, everybody. My wife and I just purchased this house in Union about 1 year ago, around last May. We're looking for more space. It's me and my wife and 2 small children, and we went to a smaller size square footage house. The reason for the minor variance is because of the height of the structure I would like to build. It's just a little bit above code. And I would like to, I just need some more storage area for me and my wife and my kids. And also I'm a shift worker. I work all 3 shifts. So if there's a need where I need to catch up on some sleep, then I can head out to a detached garage and catch up on some sleep.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fitzgerald. Mr. Shipway, what method of notice and when was notice given to the public of the hearing?
Madam Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on June 13th, 2022. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff as well as the municipal website, and notice was displayed in the weekly CE Buzz. Correspondence has been received from Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, and based on their mandate and policies, they have no objections to its approval. The subject property is not affected by natural hazard regulations of the Conservation Authorities Act.
Thank you. Mr. McClure, do you have any comments with regards to this application?
Sorry, nothing further to the report.
That's okay, I could read your lips. Thank you. Is there any comments from municipal staff? I'm seeing none. Have we received any written submissions on this application?
Madam Chair, only from the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority.
Thank you. Do any members of the committee have any questions on this application? None?
No.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from the public online? Mr. Perrin?
There are, if there's people in the gallery, if they have any questions or concerns, then they need to raise their hand.
If you are listening on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, please click the raise hand icon, or if you have called into the meeting using a telephone, please dial *9. The questions will be taken in a sequential order. When given the opportunity to speak, please provide your name and address for the record. If there are any members of the public wishing to speak to this application, if you can press your raised hand icon.
Madam Chair. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we do. Mr. Martinez, if you would like to go ahead, please state your name and address, please.
Yep, my name is Yahir Martinez. My address is 6039 Stone Church Road.
Okay, and your question or your comment?
Well, my question would be mostly about the privacy of what this could lead to. Most likely, like the windows. I don't know what his structure looks like. I tried to look online to see if there was plans on the structure that he, envisions, and I didn't see any. So my question actually would be if there's something that I could probably, if I could ask not to have windows facing my property.
Okay, Mr. McClure, can you speak to that, please, with regards to the code and how it relates to this addition?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my understanding that this, I guess the proposal is looking to replace the existing detached garage, but is going up. I guess I'm not too sure if the applicant is on the line. There are plans on the agenda, and it looks as though the windows on the upper story are facing, I guess, east-west, not north-south. There are windows to the, I guess, on the lower level that are going north-south, but any of the windows on the upper level, in the kind of within the peak of the roof or the pitch of the roof, they're facing that east-west direction.
Okay, and just a little further with regards to that, is there anything within the code that relates to this type of structure and having windows that are exposed to a neighbor's property?
With respect to the zoning, there wouldn't be anything there from a privacy perspective, but from a building and fire code, which I can't speak to, there, once you get too close to property lines, there are certain triggers, but from a privacy perspective, there is nothing within the bylaw that would prohibit that.
Okay, and plus, planning has been through this, so with regards to the fire code, there are no issues there.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fitzgerald, did you have any comment with regards to Mr. Martinez's question?
Well, it's exactly right. These windows on the second level will face east and west, and not towards my immediate neighbor's properties.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, does that satisfy your question?
Yeah, that answered the question. Thank you. That was the main issue there. Not issue, but the main question I had about this building. Can you guys tell me what's the bylaw between a property line when you're building something? Or does it matter since it's already being built on something that's already there?
I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I'm understanding your question. So with regards to this structure, that's what you're asking?
I'm sorry, madam. Can you repeat the question?
Sorry, you're asking with regards to the setbacks, with regards to this building?
That's correct.
Your property and your neighbor's property?
Yeah, just to see if there's any, I know that you're talking about fires and everything like that. It's good to go. Just from my knowledge, is there like certain feet that from a property line that you can build on? Like how far can you build from your property line?
Okay, Mr. McClure, can you take that, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are specific zone provisions within the bylaw. This is zoned R1 within the Township of Yarmouth bylaw. The applicant hasn't requested any reductions in the side yard setback than what's in the standard zone. The only reduction that or I guess increase that they're asking for is in height. And I believe with the Yarmouth bylaw, it's 1 meter. We typically request that you go above slightly to that 1.2 meter because you get into fire and building code issues once you get below that 1.2 meters, but the zone itself would allow for a meter.
Thank you, Mr. McClure. Did that help, Mr. Martinez?
Yeah, that was just for my knowledge as to how far. So he's saying that 1 meter away from the property line, that's when you can start building. And I know that's not what he's asking. Like I said, I'm not here to argue or to fight it. It's just to know certain things so that we know what's going on as well, right? It's talking about the 18 feet going to 23 feet. And my question was just like about the windows, the privacy. That was all. And then I think that's pretty much it, unless you have any other questions. No.
I think Mr. McClure has a follow-up. Just a moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Mr. McClure.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. There are specific provisions in the bylaw that allow for, I guess, being closer to property lines in certain circumstances, but you can definitely get in touch with me tomorrow if you'd like, and I can send you the zoning for your property, just so you're aware of what sort of setback requirements and that would apply to your property. And that way you just have a better picture of the specific setbacks based on what you're looking at potentially doing on the property. So, but that's definitely something that you could reach out to me through the Central Elgin Planning Office tomorrow if you'd like me to provide some additional information.
Thank you,
Perfect, thank
Mr. McClure. There, does that satisfy your questions, Mr. Martinez?
It did, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Perrin, do we have anybody else? I don't see any more raised hands.
No other individuals requesting to speak.
Okay, thank you. Just the last chance, if there is anybody online to raise your hand to speak with regards to this application. And I'm seeing none. Okay. So everybody has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Is the committee ready to make a decision?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Shipway, can you take the vote, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Councillor Rowe?
Yes.
Councillor Kravitz?
Yes.
Councillor Fair?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Marks?
Yes.
Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Madam Chair Nguyen?
Yes.
Granted.
Thank you. That application has been granted. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Diane Wilson at dwilson@centralalgin.org, indicating which public meeting they wish to be notified on and provide their name and address. Those who do not have access to a computer and wish to be notified should call Diane Wilson at 519-631-4860, extension 286, and provide the same information. This meeting is now adjourned.
Go right into.
Yeah, just give me.
I'll give you